Hey guys, so today we're going to be going over a totally new topic. It's called while loops. Repeat, while loops. This is a form of iteration which you may or may not have heard of before. Um, before I start, I want to say that you should really watch some of my previous videos before you delve into while loops. They're available on YouTube.com, and the main one I think that is most relevant to while loops is the operators video. So if you go down to my YouTube channel, you'll go to C++ tutorials, and you see C++ operators and C++ decisions and conditional operators and C++ conditional operators. You want to have a good base of these three videos. You want to have a good knowledge of these three videos. So be sure to watch these videos, number 7, number 8, number 9, C++ operators, C++ decision and conditional operators part 1, and C++ conditional operators part 2, before you start mending and start delving into while loops. But anyway, so let's continue with this video. So what is a loop? A loop is essentially a way of repeating a certain program or a certain piece of code a certain number of times. So a while loop essentially states that while a condition is true, repeat this code a certain number of times. And if at any point in time it's not true, break out of the code. So as you can see, we have this diagram over here showing some while loop code, while condition. While a condition is true, execute this conditional code right here. So essentially it shows this diagram, condition. If the condition is true, execute the code block. And keep executing this code block as many times as the condition is true. So say we had a number, say we had while an integer, let's say I, and we set that equal to 0. And then we had a number n, and n equal to 3. And then let's say that we incremented the integer I until it became equal to 3. So while it's less than or equal to 3, this condition would be true and this code block would be executed. And once it's greater than 3, the condition is false, and we execute and we exit out of the while loop. So let's see what this looks like in code. I'm just gonna open up my previous project. Test, I think that's it. Test.cpp, and we're gonna scratch all of this out. So keep the include IOStream and using namespace standard int main. Keep the base, the skeleton of the file. Remember to keep return 0. Just delete everything else. Okay. So I'm going to declare a variable. We're going to call it int I equals 0. And we're going to call another integer, and we're going to call it n. So we're going to separate this int, and we're going to declare another int called n, and we're going to set it equal to 3. So as you can see, yes, you can do that, by the way. Just, I know I'm kind of deviating from the topic a little bit, but you can declare 2 integers on one line using this this comma. Okay, so then I can just put while I is less than or equal to 3, cout I and I. And okay, so we have while I is less than or equal to 3, cout I end line. What do you guys think this will do? Let's run it to find out. Build and run. Dun, dun. That's interesting. This is an infinite loop. We'll get to why this is infinite, but before that we need to examine this program. So it's really weird that I'm actually starting out with the concept of infinite loops before I talk about regular loops, but essentially the reason why this is infinite is because you start an integer I and you say that while the integer I is less than or equal to 3, execute this statement. But we're not changing the integer I, and that's the problem. Every while loop needs to have a condition that changes the base variable. So in this case, our base variable is I, and we need something that pivots I. We need something that changes I so that it's not less than or equal to 3 after a certain number of tries. Otherwise, this loop will just continue incessantly, like shown. As you can see, it's just continuing to print out zeros, and that's kind of unfortunate because what this will result is in a stack overflow error inside the memory, and that's not good for your computer, trust me. So yeah, so let's just add one piece of code to this. We're going to say I++, and what plus plus does is increments I by 1. So in the first time this loop runs, it's going to increment 0 to 1. Then the second time it runs, it's going to increment it to 2. Third time it runs, it's going to increment it to 3. And then after that, when it gets incremented to 4, this condition will become false and the while loop will exit. So let's see this run now. As you can see, we have it printed out 0, it printed out 1, and it printed out 2, it printed out 3. But after that, it stopped printing, and it said process returned 0 times 0. And this essentially shows that while loops will continue until this specified condition is met. And once this condition is not met, it will break out. It'll break out of the loop, and that's exactly what will happen. So now I want you guys to try to make your own while loop. I want you guys to input 2 variables, and I want you guys to create a while loop using those variables. And I want you guys to use one variable as a starting point and use another variable as an ending point, and I want you to increment that first variable until it becomes equal to that second variable. And once it's greater than that second variable, I want you guys to make sure that the program exits the while. Okay, we're going to do that in the next video.